everyone, here we are again, Robin the Sudoku Guy with another tutorial, but I've got something to tell you. Right now in Canada we're having a real cold spell. So I'm in the lounge and right by a lovely warm fire. Neat, eh? Now today I'm going to do a puzzle, a difficult one, from the beginning to the end, and as we go through it I want to show you some techniques and patterns to look for, but above all, underneath this video you'll see a list of all the different techniques and procedures that I use. So let's get started. When I first look at a puzzle, I look at this to see if there's something that stands out. When I first look at this, immediately I see two fours along here, so and there's two fours down here, so I'll put a 4 in here using TMB. And talking about that, using TMB, top, middle and bottom, I'm now going to do a quick look at the horizontal blocks. Along here we have 2 4s, we have 2 1s. So this is the middle, this is the top, this is the bottom, so we put a 1 in there and a 1 in there. Now going to here, I'm looking at that. There's 2 3s, there's a middle and a top, and the 3 can go here or 3 or here or there, sorry. Here we go. Now, if it goes in 2 cells, I can put it in. If it goes in more than 2 cells, don't put it in. Okay, what about anything else on there? No, what about this set of blocks? We have 2 2s. We have a 2 here, a middle, a top, and here it has to be on the bottom. It can go in 2 spots, so we can put that in. Now, some people may say, I don't put any of those little numbers in. If you can do that and remember them all, fantastic. Go ahead, do it. Okay, but this is a teaching lesson, teaching tutorial, I mean. Okay, now did we cover all the bottom and everything? Yes. Now let's do the vertical blocks. We have 2 1s, one on the right, one on the left. The 1 here has to be in the middle. There's 2 places for it, but we have a 1 over here, so the 1 goes there. Okay, now the ramification of that is that this 1 means that if we have a bottom, we have a top. A 1 can go here or here. Again, let me point out that if it can go in 2 cells, we'll put them in. Okay, anything else? 2 2s, 1s and 2s. That's about it. What about down in here? Oh, we have 2 3s. We have a 3 in the middle, 3 on the right. These 2 3s can go right in here, right there. This vertical blocks, we've got 2 2s. We have a 2 on the left, 2 on the right. A 2 can go here, and a 2 can go there. What else? Anything else? Yes, we have an 8 here. We have an 8 here. So an 8 goes here and here. Very good. Now that I've done TMB and LCR, we're going to do cross meet technique. If I look first of all at this block here and say, well, is there 2s? Well, there's no 2s, but I can do a cross meet system. Take this 2 across here, can't be there or there. Take this 2 down here and go up here, can't be there or there. There are 2 places, that was the pun, 2 places you can put a 2. Okay. 3s. Yeah, there's no 3 in here, but let's look at, there's a 3 here and a 3 here. We can cross meet that one. Cross here, go up there. That means that this will be a possible 3, and that can be a possible 3. Let me repeat. If it goes in 2 cells only, within a row, block, or column, you can put them in. Or keep them in your head for memory. What about 5s? There's no 5 in here. We can go across here. There's a 5 down in here, so we go 5 up there. There's only 2 places the 5 can go, and that is here and here. Now, isn't that amazing? We got all those possible numbers just by using what is called the Snyder notation. Great system. Really helps. Even the pros do it. Okay, let's now go to anything in here. No. Anything across there, and we can cross. No, I don't think so. Let's try these here. 3s are already done. The 7. Okay, here's a 7, and here's a 7. You can put a 7 there or there. Go in 2 spots. Fantastic. Okay, anything else along here? 9. No. Okay, let's do these blocks in here. What about in here? 7, 7 goes in, a 7 could go in there and there. Oh, well, I never. We can go in those two. Very good. What about over here now? We've done 2, 5s, 5s, 5s. Look at this. This block here, if you take this 5 and go across, and you take this 5 and come down, a 5 can only be there or there, which is 2 spots, so we put it in. Okay, now let's say, well look, here's a 6 and there's a 6. There's no 6 in here. If I come down here and across here, the only place a 6 can go is there, and we have a matching pair, and I love matching pairs because it helps you solve more numbers, particularly in advanced puzzles. Okay, now I think we do with all that. Oh, what about the 9? Over on this block, we've got a 9 and a 9 there. It comes down here, goes across there. A 9 could go there or there. Now, what's the ramification of that? If there's 2 9s in here and a 9 there, there's 2 spots up here a 9 could go using the TMB, the LCR system. That's important to remember. Always look for ramifications. Now we've done, I think, have I done all the possible cross meets? Yeah, I think I have. Now comes the question of what to look for next. And what I normally do is look for any row, column or block that maybe only have 2 or 3 cells left. Now here we have 4 cells left. No, that's not good. Well, I'm going to tell you something now that I cover in one of the lessons in the advanced course. It's called the Cleaver. It's a big fat knife that a butcher uses. The Cleaver pattern is very powerful, and whenever I see something like this, or something like this and this, or something like this and this, or something like that and that, I immediately look for a possible cleaver. Now let me explain. See these 2 3s here? There's 3s can go all in over here, so that won't work. But over on here, 3s can be there, there, or there, because this 3 means you can't have a 3 in there and a 3 in there. So you have here that pattern. Now I'm going to draw it in for you, just so you can see what I mean by a cleaver. This is the knife of the cleaver. Down here, then across here. Excuse my crooked line. And then up to there. That's the knife of the cleaver. And whenever you have a cleaver, there's a handle to the cleaver. And the handle is always down in here. Let me draw the handle for you. Here's the handle. Okay. What that means is that because we have a cleaver with 3 3s and possible 3 3s, I'm keeping that in my head because there's 3 of them, whether it be here or here, just here, it will work. Then you can put 2 3s there. Let me put them in for you first, and then I'll demonstrate the logic behind it. 3 3. Whoops, that should be on the other side. I'm being nitpicky here. 3 3. Okay. Now the logic of a cleaver goes like this. If there's a 3 here, that 3 goes up to there. Middle, top, bottom. It has to be in that. But if there's a 3 here or here, it will gets rid of that 3, but it goes to there, and then using top, middle, bottom, it goes down there again. So it doesn't matter which way it goes, the cleaver allows you to put the number in the handle of the cleaver. Neat trick to learn. I'll push on now. We're now looking for something that's only got, oh, you won't believe this. I have just noticed a mallet. I'm going to draw the mallet in here for you. I don't know if you can see it. I'll do it as best I can. The mallet this is the head of the mallet. It's a wooden hammer. And the wooden hammer, and my dad used to have one. And what it is that we have 2 columns. There's no 3 in here, But do we have 2 columns? You can't put a 3, it's because of this 3, you can't put a 3 in there, and can't put a 3 in there. So what we say is that here we have a mallet. There could be a 3 up there as well. It doesn't matter, it still works. The point is the 3s are in this column and in this column. And when that occurs, the handle, again back to the handle, has to have the 3. Okay, so I'm putting the handle in now, and the 3 goes in to make, guess what? It's going to be another matching pair. That's really handy, because let me tell you why. When you're looking at a number of empty cells as Cleaver, you don't have to consider, because they are spoken for. You can't put any other little numbers in there. Now, that what we've got now. I'm looking for something with 4 cells left, or 3 or 4 cells. There's 1 in here. No, there's 5 there. There's 4 cells here, and there's 4 cells here. No, I think that's all. So let's try one of them. Let's try this one, because we can take advantage of this 3, 8. How many numbers can fit in here? It would be a 1, 2, 5, and 7. Okay, well, I'm not going to put 1, 2, 5 in there. Don't put more than 2 numbers. I'm going to just leave it at 2, because I know one of these is going to be a 2. They can't be anywhere else. Can't be there. Can't be there either for this 2. So I'm going to just leave it at 2 2s. But here we have a 1. Here's a 1, 2. So that has to be a 5, 7. Whoops, get the right pen. That has to be a 5, 7 because of that 1, 2. And this has to be a 1 because of 2, 7 here. It has to be a 1, 5. Now there's only 2 little numbers that can fit in there that are possible, so I can put them in. But up in here we can have 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5. We don't know where the 1's going to go. Could go to 3 spots, or 5, 3, 5. Same with a 5. But I've just noticed. You may have noticed this before I got to it. This is the only place a 7 can go. So I'm going to put a 7 in there. Now let's look at the ramifications of that. 7, 7. One of these is going to be a 7. Now let's go this way. Whoops. This is going to be a 7. And the red is not coming off very clearly, so I'm afraid it's going to be messy. Okay, so this is going to be a 7. And you probably, those of you who are experienced, can obviously see what's going to happen now. This 7 and that 7 means that a 7 is in here, but it can't go there because of that 7. So this becomes a 7. Now let's take that 7 and this 7. We have a top and a middle. This has to be a 7 in the bottom. So this becomes a 7, and we can rub this out. Now because, oh, that was bad. Because we put this 7 and got that 7, there's a 7 can go up in here. Wow, this is going really well. 7, we'll put a 7 in here. Now we have a top and a middle. A 7 goes over here, and so this 7 can go. And this 7 becomes a big 7. You know what? We have just, I think, got a 7 in every block, which is fantastic. That's exciting when that happens. Okay, now where were we up to? We're looking at, oh yes, places where there's 4 cells left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to, what would I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, well, I mentioned this one. Let's do this one. What numbers are missing in here? It's going to be a 2, 3, a 4, and an 8. Well, I never. Look at this. Here's a 2, 8, so that has to be a 4. Here's a 2, 8, that has to be a 4. And we can't have an 8 in there. So we've got a matching pair. Whoopee! So with that matching pair, that will change this, because this will have to be a 2 and 8, because the 8s can't go there. So here we go, 8 and an 8. We couldn't have a 2 in here because there's a 2 in that block. Now what's the ramifications of that? Well, there's 8, we have an 8 here, an 8 here, an 8 can go here, and an 8 can go there, and we can erase this 7 because we've already got the 7 in there now. Well, that's neat. Now let's see, let's look at this. Because we know there's going to be a 3 there, one of those is going to be a 3, so it's going to be a 3, is that better? This 3 means that it could be there or there. Oh, look at this. Here we have, this is neat, and I covered this in another tutorial. 2 matching pairs plus 2 equals another matching pair. Now, what do you think goes in here? What's left in this block is a 3 and a 4. So a 4 has to go here. Well, a 4 has to go there because it can't go there. Therefore, this becomes a 3. We'll put a 3 in there. Now, what's the ramifications of that? This 4 means that there's a 4 up there and there's a 4 there using cross system. A 4 could go here or here. And this 4 also means, and that 4 means that that fits. What about the 3? 3, 3, one of these is a 3. But there's a 3 right there, so this has to become a big 3. Now, what's the ramifications of that 3? Let's have a look. We have a left, we have a right. It has to be in the center. So this becomes a 3. And we can get rid of that 3. This red is really giving me troubles today. Okay, and now let's look at the ramifications of that 3. 3, middle, bottom, middle, top. Now people may say, we put a 3 in there, but I've noticed this. 3, 3, that 3 goes, and this becomes a real 8. If that, because it's a matching pair, and that's an 8 and a 3, so this becomes a big 8, and this is where the 3 will go, not there, but there. Okay, so we'll get rid of those 3 and 8. And 3 and, sorry, with the 8 rather, and we'll put a 3 in. Well, that was a neat experience, just because we discovered this situation in here with 3 matching pairs. Okay, moving right along now, we're looking again for a row, column or block that's only got 2 left, or 3 left. Here's one with 3 left. It's what's left in here? It's a 5, 6 and a 9. Each one of them is a 5, 6 or 9. So leave it. Too many little numbers. If it's 3 little numbers, leave it for the time being. Now let me tell you something. When you're doing a really difficult puzzles, and there's a lot of them around these days, so often you can use this notation system so far, and then you have no alternative to put some more little numbers in. All my tutorials in the 20s, 30s and 40s show you how to work with that situation. Now, so we'll leave that one. This one's got 3 now left. It's a 6, 8 and a 9. Well, this will be 6, 8, 9, 6, 8, 9 because there's nothing up in here, but there's an 8 here. So this becomes a 6, 9. Way to go. That'll be helpful somewhere down the road, I'm sure. But I don't want to put 6, 8, 9. There's 3 little numbers. Leave it at that. For the time being. Time may come where you may have to put more numbers in. We'll see. Okay. Now I'm looking for another place where there's only 3 left. No, I don't think that's going to help us. What about this one here? What have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3. We have 4 left in there. Oh, too many. Discovery! There's another Cleaver. Look here. Look at this 3 here. There's a 1, 8. You can't have a 2. There's a 1, 2 and 8 in here. The 2 can only go in those 2 cells. Which means, because they can only go in those 2 cells, nowhere else, in this column, 2 can only go there. Over here in this column, 2 can only go there. Now you have another Cleaver. Let's look at it very briefly. can you see what's going to happen with a cleaver? Okay, I'm going to just show you the cleaver again. For those of you who have not been learning to look for these. Okay, right down there, and it just comes across here. This is the blade of the cleaver. And the handle of the cleaver is always down here in the third block. A cleaver blade always occurs in 2 blocks. Could be vertical or could be horizontal. Now, that's going to be a great discovery. Why? Because what I see here, you may have seen it already, those of you who are bright and experienced, that this 2, a 2 in here means a 2 can go there or there, but it can't go there because there's a 2 there. So this becomes a 2. Now whenever you put, as we have always said, whenever you put a new number in, look for ramifications. Here we have a 2, middle, right. A 2 has to come up, let me see, 2, 2, 2. This has to become a 2. So we can get rid of that 2. That didn't work, I'll use the tissue. Where did he go? What's in my hand? Wakey, wakey, rise and shine, get out of bed, it's Sudoku time. Here we go. So 2 goes there. What's the ramifications of that, of course? We always look for ramifications. We have a 2 up in here. We have a 2 here, so 2 can go in here. Whenever I see those 2 2s, I'm looking, look at 2 2s in here. This is what we call a table. Another pattern that I cover in the advanced courses. Anyway, I'll leave that for the time being. But these are the legs of the table. Here's the top of the table, and here's the other legs of the table. Okay, now let's look at that. Let's see what can we do. Well, this 2 can go. This 2 can go. Now what are we left with? We've got 1, 2, only 3 left in this row here. Let's see. Let's try this one. We've got a 6, 8, and a 9. 6, 8, 9, there's no 6 and 8s in through here, or in here. 6, 8, 9, no 6 and 8s in through here, so 2, 8, 6, 8, 9. This is the 6, 8, 9 as well. Nothing to do. We can't do anything with that lot. So we go to another one. Where's another one? Here's place. Let's try this one for fun. 5, 6, 8, and 9. Now, in the early days when you're learning, you put all those numbers down here to help you remember them, but you've got to keep them in your head if you're experienced. So 5, 6, 8, and 9. So I'm now looking, is there a 5 in that area? No. Is there a 5 and 5, 6, 8, and 9 in there? No. There's a 5. Oh, there's a 6, 9 here. That means that this becomes a 5, 8. Really? That's going to be helpful, I'm sure. Well, I don't know, we'll see. This one's a 6, 8, 9 again. So we've got one cell done. What about this one here? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 there. Let's try that one. 5, 6, 8, and 9. 5, 6, 8, 9. I'm looking around. 5, 6, 8, 9. We've already got a 6, 9 in here, so we're just basically looking for these 3. 5, 6, 8. Well, here's a 5, 8. So that becomes a 6, 9. Which is neat. Now we have 2 6, 9s, which is a matching pair. Matching pair plus 2. Look at this column. This is getting fun now. Look at this column. We've got an empty one there and an empty one there. And it has to be numbers that are not included so far. And it has to be a 5. And the other one would be an 8. 5, 8, 5, 8 matching pair. There's an 8 across there. So that becomes a 5 automatically without even to be putting anything in. And this 5 becomes an 8 because it was a 5, 8 matching pair. Try and remember that. And this 5 goes because that's going to be an 8 now. Okay. So that is an 8. This becomes the 5. And now we're left with 2 empty cells. One's a 6, 9. And when you see that, there are 2 empty cells in a block and one is 6, 9. The other one's going to be a 6, 9 matching pair. Oh, we're getting lots of matching pairs today. Okay, there we go. Now what's the effect of that 8 and that 5? Let's start with the bottom one. We'll start with a 5, 5, this 5 means that that 5 there can go. So we'll get rid of that, and that becomes an 8. Oh, neat. See, just those, having those two numbers there really makes a difference. So that becomes an 8, and therefore this becomes an 8. This becomes a big 8. Okay, and we can get rid of that 8. Now, usually you'll notice I'm getting rid of all these little numbers. Some computer programs to get rid of them for you. I'm doing it on this tutorial because it becomes very messy, and it's easy for you to see if you've got an iPhone or something like that. Okay, so 8, 8, 8. Now look what have we got. This is, gee whiz, bunch of 6 9s. Look, here's the 6 9. There's only one left in this row, in this column, so that's a 6 9. There's only 2 left in this block, so that's a 6 9. And in this block, there's only 2 left, and because that's a 6 9, this is a 6 9. Wow, we're going crazy with 6 9s. Well, it can happen. It can happen. Okay, where are we up to now? Oh, now we did the 5s on this side, but we got a new 8 there. This 8 here and this 8 there. That works. Now let's try this 8 and go this direction. It's easy to miss going both directions. That 8 goes. So this becomes a 1. Okay, that's important. So that 1 can go. That was a pun. That 1 can go. Yeah, that fits. Bottom, top, middle. Now we're left with 2 cells. 2 cells. What's left in those 2 cells would be a 2 and something else. It's going to be an 8. Instead of me writing 2 8 2 8, there's an 8 over there. Immediately I know that this will become a 2. So we'll put a 2 in, and therefore this becomes an 8. Okay? We've now got that whole column. Wow. Now, what's the ramifications of this? Let's have a look. That one's going to be 2, 2. I think I'll leave it at that. I know this 2 and this 2 will lead to this becoming a 2. And that's going. So that becomes a 2. And that opens up some things too. Wow. It opens up a 1 5 1 5, and this is a 1 5 here, and there's a 5 there, so that has to be a 1. And we've only got 1 left in here, so 1 2 3. Oh, it's a 9. Well, that was great. We're really making some progress here. If that's a 9 and that's a 9 has to be somewhere in here. We could put a little 9. Whoop, we've got to know. Well, we'll have to find out. Okay. Now, getting back to this 8. I suddenly saw all kinds of things with that 1. Getting back to this 8. This becomes an 8. Okay. Because top, middle, bottom. Okay. Now, what do we got left? Oh, this is fascinating. That 8, what's the ramifications of that? I've just noticed down in here, see, this becomes a 2. And therefore, this becomes an 8. Well, that fits. I'm just checking it out now. Ooh, this 8, 8, 8, that has to be an 8. Okay, now that's 2. Let's look at this 2. That 2 means that this can't be a, I want to say 2, 2, 2. This is a 2. That's a 2, so that can't be a 2. Okay, this may be a 9. We'll have to see, get rid of that 2. Oh, terrible. Remind me to do something about this problem with the red. Okay, so is that going to be, oh gosh, do you know, see what it's going to be? It's going to be a 6 9. Wow, I never. Gee whiz. We have a lot of them, don't we? Now, we've got in this block, we've only got, we've got a 6 9 again. Now, if you go 6, 9 to 6, 9, that can't be a 9. Rule of exclusion. Got it? Remember that? Rule of exclusion. Tutorial number 2, if I remember rightly, very important. So that becomes a 9. Now that becomes what? We have a 5. What was it here? We had a... Well, that's going to be a 5. Look, here's a 5. There's a 5. This becomes a 5. And we're left with a 6, 9. Incredible. Okay, now, what are we left in here? We're left with a 6, 9, 6, 9. This 6, 9 is really crazy on this puzzle. 6, 9. Oh, remember, there's 2 9s down here. That one of those has to be a 9 in this column. So this cannot be a 9. So this has to become the 9. Okay, that has to be 9, 9. This has to become the 9. And that has to become the 6. Remember, it was the 6, 9. Wow, things are really happening now. We'll go pretty fast now because we've pretty well broken the camel's back, as they say. Okay, we're looking along this here now. We have a 6 here, we have a 6 here, so this becomes a 6. And that makes sense because that's the last one on that row. I'm teaching a beginner's class right now, and the first thing they learn is to look for an empty cell in a row, column, or block. Yes, you use it all the time. Okay, now what have we got here? We have a 5, 6, 9 in here. That 9, that 9. That's correct. That's good. Oh, I forgot. Look at this. Here's a 1. This becomes a 5. This is going to be fun. This becomes a 5. It's easy to miss things, I tell you. Even with a lot of experience, it's easy to miss things. If that 5 becomes a 5, this becomes a 1, because remember we had 2 1s in there, and this is now the only one that can go. The advantage of just putting it in 2 places, that becomes the 1, and this becomes the 9. Okay? So, whoa, that was bang, 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 bang. And that fits. Right, left, right, center, left. Okay, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, self-checking doing that. Okay, now let's push on. With this 5, oh, look at this. This 5 makes this a 6. That becomes a 6. And therefore, this becomes a 5. Matching pair again, remember? This becomes a 5. Am I right? 5, 5, 5, 6. That 6, oh, look at this. That 6 means that this becomes a 9. Well, it's the only one left in that row. So this becomes a 9. And therefore this becomes a 6. What does this do? The ramifications are amazing. Look at this. This becomes a 6. Okay. And this becomes a 9. Okay, that becomes a 9. 9, 9. Whoops, I got 2 9s in there. Something went wrong. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Where did I go wrong? This can't be a 9. 9, 9, 9. This can't be a 9. I've made a mistake. Oh dear. That has to be a 6. Of course it was. That can't be a 6. That has to be the 9. Oh man, oh man. Everybody makes mistakes. Let's see if this works out. That becomes a 9. Okay. Okay, that becomes a 6. Some of you are probably yelling out at me, "Hey, Sudoku Guy, you made a mistake." Yep, we all make mistakes. Oh, we got another 9. Oh, I think I'm going to have to do this whole thing again. Oh dear, oh dear. 6, 6. Oh, that was a silly mistake. Oh, I'm getting tired, I think. That becomes a 9. Okay, so this then becomes the 6. Let's see if that fits. Yep, it does. Isn't it easy when you start to rush, you can make mistakes. This becomes the 9. Okay. Let's check things out here if I got it right. 6, 6, 6, 9, 9, 9. Now we come to here. We have a 5. We have a, oh, look at this. Here's a 1. Here's a 1. This becomes a 1. And therefore, this becomes a 4 because we only put the 4 in 2 spots. There's only 1 cell left in here, and it is a 5. So that becomes the 5. Now, the 5 means that we're 5, 5, 5. One of these is a 5, but there's a 5 up there. So this becomes the 5. Okay. Let's see if that fits down below here. 5, 5, 5. And this becomes a 3. If that's a 3, this becomes a 4. Oh, we're boom, 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 boom now. That becomes a 4. That becomes a 3. I'm rushing. This 4 and that 4 means that this becomes a 4. And what am I? Is it all adding up now? Whoops! We've got a 9 and a 6 here. So we've already got a 9, so it has to be a 6. Okay. You probably saw that before and say, Robin, you missed that. Okay, guess what? We did it. Had a couple of scary moments there, but we did it. And let me tell you something. If you'd have gone ahead and put all the little possible numbers in at the beginning, it would have been so difficult, so messy, and take you so long because there's hidden things when you have a lot of numbers. That's it for today. Bye for now.